and it was a sad night for Nigerian football. Again, it has become a recurring decimal. But what do we do if incidents of this magnitude definitely put a bluff on everything that we have tried to endure rather than enjoy over the past couple of months for football in Nigeria. That's why people are calling for the NFF and everybody associated with football in Nigeria to resign, beginning from the coach of the Super Falcons, Justin Madugu. There's nothing that he would have said or that he can say going forward that would defend the inexplicable and inexcusable performance of the Super Falcons yesterday. Disjointed, and South Africa taught them a new one and will definitely face Ghana in the intercontinental playoffs for the World Cup. Beat Cameroon and qualify straight to the World Cup proper? No. Another lifeline thrown out the window. So the Super Falcons will definitely see it as one of those opportunities that were fluffed, and now for the first time they will not be qualifying for the World Cup. Is this the last tournament for the likes of Rasheedat Ajibade? Definitely for Frances Odega and Osinachi Ohale. But what do we do concerning the likes of Oluwatosin Demehi and Jennifer Onyinye Chichejine and Echejini? Others, and yeah, we remember Echejine, a very brilliant player for the Super Falcons. So right, so well, Assistant Oshoala, despite the fact that she's six-time World Footballer of the Year, definitely performed below par against Cameroon, where she came on in the last 6 or 7 minutes, and where she started from the off against the Bayana of South Africa. Unfortunately for the Super Falcons, they couldn't qualify. In fact, they couldn't scale through the continental hurdle first before even talking about qualification, because it was still a long road. All right, going straight to tennis. Iga Swiatek has broken her dry spell, barring run. First title since 2025, defeating rival Elena Rybakina in the final. In fact, she blitzed through after stopping Elena Svitolina, the Ukrainian, in the semi-finals. Of course, Elena Svitolina, well, had beaten Iga Swiatek 2 times earlier this year in Indian Wells and Rome. So Iga Swiatek wasn't having it. Defeated her in 3 sets. Very brilliant performance from 6-time Grand Slam champion Iga Swiatek, who dispatched Elena Rybakina in the final to win that Masters 1000 for her 12th of such victories in Masters 1000 history. Serena leads in that format with 22 Masters 1000 shields. They call it the Tier 1 of the great Martina Hingis, just behind on 17. Maria Sharapova has won 14. So there are a lot of legends. Lindsay Davenport is in and around there. People who have done very well for themselves in the game of tennis. So Iga Swiatek is back among the winners circle, and of course she was bang average all through the season. Now she's back, and you do not discount champions. Class is permanent at all times. She has also helped arch rival Arina Sabalenka in that race for the world number 1. If Elena Rybakina had prevailed, she would have been just 6 points behind Arina Sabalenka going into Cincinnati. So it's a must-win tournament for Arina Sabalenka, because if she doesn't reach at least the final and Rybakina reaches the semi-finals, Elena Rybakina will be the new world number 1 in women's tennis. For men's tennis, Ben Shelton defended his title in Canada by defeating fellow American Brandon Nakashima 6-4, 7-6 in that very beautiful final that was played. And in that regard, Ben Shelton has now won 2 Masters 1000s, doing very, very well for himself this year, especially winning titles and dispatching opponents with aplomb and also efficiency. That's it. And for FIFA, Alexander Seferin, the UEFA president, is leading the campaign for the vote of no confidence that will be passed, or that is desirous of being passed on Gianni Infantino, the president of FIFA, before the March re-election bid of the Swiss Italian president of the world football governing body. Right, Seferin is not in a good frame of mind when it comes to Infantino, and he has been leading that queue. Well, it's a long queue, really. He has been leading that group that intends to see the end of Infantino's reign as FIFA president. Let us see how that goes. Of course, Patrick Mosepe is of the opinion that Gianni Infantino, Mosepe is the president of CAF, has been saying frantically insisting that Infantino should remain there until March. They should give him the opportunity to remain there until March. But UEFA, CONCACAF, AFC are saying leave there now, resign now, because that FFE was a slap across their collective faces. All right, going straight into the UEFA Super Cup. Let us not forget that the UEFA Super Cup was played 2 days ago. Unfortunately, I couldn't be here yesterday to give you updates on what happened. Brian Maggio, the 17-year-old Aston Villa wonderkid, scored the equalizer in Salzburg, but it wasn't to be after PSG's KK, Vice Cavaselia, scored the opener from an assist by Desiree Doué, who later scored the winner from an assist by Ousmane Dembele. All right, so Ousmane Dembele came on halftime for Manix Aklouche, who just came in from AS Monaco, was thrown straight into the starting lineup by Luis Enrique, who doesn't take chances at all. But because of the form and fitness of players who have barely played and barely trained, PSG had to make do without Ousmane Dembele, who came on at halftime and did what he does best: affecting the game or effecting the game in ways that he deems appropriate. And that is exactly what happened at the Super Cup final versus Aston Villa. So Paris Saint-Germain became the 4th club to retain the Super Cup after Ajax in 73-74, AC Milan in 89-90, and Real Madrid most recently in 2016 and 2017. So it is a very brilliant last 2 seasons for PSG, and Luis Enrique has become the winningest manager in PSG history, and Marquinhos has become the sole guy, of course, the only player to have won 40 trophies for a single club, 11 Ligue 1 titles, 2 Champions League titles, 2 Super Cup titles, amongst others. He's done absolutely well since taking over the captaincy from Thiago Silva in 2020. We remember he signed for PSG in 2013 but couldn't start because David Luiz was taking his position, or was instead chosen ahead of Marquinhos. But since then, Marquinhos has kept his head down. The 32-year-old captain of PSG, as well as the national team of Brazil, has won 40 titles for the Paris-based club, or the Paris outfit. All right. So for Aston Villa, Unai Emery has said that there will be more signings. João Palhinha has agreed personal terms with Aston Villa, but Bayern Munich insists that the loan must be a permanent one. The deal must be a permanent one. It shouldn't be a loan. So they want him shipped up permanently, and no loan deal will be considered by Die Rofen. All right. So the Bavarian outfit have insisted that João Palhinha, who was on loan at Tottenham last season, should go to Aston Villa in a permanent deal. So that permanent move is being noted. Let's see how it goes. The big news out of Nigeria and the entire world is that Arsenal are in talks with Galatasaray for the signing of the potential signing of Victor James Osimhen, own Nigerian superstar, one of the best strikers in the world, arguably. Forget his temperament. Nobody is perfect. Nobody is infallible. Definitely, we all have our shortcomings, and I'm sure his temperament can be controlled by Mikel Arteta, who is no stranger to temperamental issues. All right, so let us see if the Arsenal interest for Victor Osimhen can transition or can lead to a permanent move from Gala. He will be 28 in December, so he doesn't have a lot of time at the top level. Permit me to say, I'm not Nostradamus, but I'm saying at the top level in his prime, 5-6 years, let him do quite well at a top flight football club, and they don't come better than Arsenal. So, all right, in a separate conversation, negotiation as well, Gabriel Martinelli is being lined up by Galatasaray as a possible transfer target. In fact, they have sent a bid to Arsenal in the region of 60 million euros for the Brazilian Gabriel Martinelli. Can it be a swap deal? Maybe Martinelli and a couple of quid for Victor Osimhen. When I say a couple of quid, I'm saying in the region of 30-40 million, because the same Galatasaray actually rejected the 130 plus million euros package from Al Hilal for the signature or the playing rights of the Nigerian international Victor Osimhen, who has been unsung for Galatasaray in the last 2 seasons. This season will definitely be tough in the Turkish league, as Besiktas recruited Dusan Vlahovic from Juventus, as well as Leandro Trossard. And looking at Trabzonspor, they have Mohamed Salah as well as Paul Onuachu. And looking at other clubs such as Fenerbahce, they just welcomed the addition of Romelu Lukaku Bolingoli. Looking at their squad with N'Golo Kante, with Matteo Guendouzi, with Mason Greenwood, with so many good players, Nelson Semedo, Nathan Ake, they've got the team to definitely mount a resistance or a challenge to Trabzonspor, Besiktas and Galatasaray. Of course, the Turkish league is no stranger to fantastic players that have done their bit in the game. Wesley Sneijder has played there, Didier Drogba has played there, our own Austin JJ Okocha has played there as well. So the Turkish league, they have welcomed some great names. So it isn't a new scene for Turkish football, but right now it's a lot better going forward, looking at the sort of players that they can command right now, with Fenerbahce welcoming Romelu Lukaku in the last 3 days and Dusan Vlahovic moving from Juve to Besiktas. All right, let us see how it goes for the Turkish league. But right now, with the players at their disposal, all these top clubs will definitely want to challenge for the much coveted Turkish Super League title, which has been won in the last 2 seasons by Victor Osimhen's Galatasaray. Despite the injury woes of Victor last season, the likes of Leroy Sané, Mario Icardi ably deputized. Let's not forget that Fenerbahce also have Marco Asensio, who has played for Real Madrid and PSG. If you're not good enough, you do not play for Real, and you definitely do not play for Paris Saint-Germain. Recently, of course, Paris Saint-Germain in the last 50 years have boasted the best players: Ronaldinho, JJ Okocha, Nene, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Edson, El Matador, Cavani, Kylian Mbappe, Neymar, Lionel Messi. So they've had the best, Carlos Bianchi as well, El Visceral. So they've had fantastic players in there. They've had Pauleta, who used to be the highest ever goal scorer for the Portuguese national team, until that record was obliterated by none other than Cristiano Ronaldo. Lionel Messi has buried his father, and Cristiano Ronaldo sent a condolence message. And other news, Cristiano Ronaldo has also tied the knot with longtime girlfriend Georgina Rodriguez. After 10 years of courtship and children and enjoyment, Cristiano Ronaldo and Georgina are finally husband and wife in a private ceremony. A billionaire private ceremony. No hop and puff, no razzmatazz, no hop and puff, nothing whatsoever. It was a silent and private ceremony. Well, not silent as you would think, but it was very private, with about 10 or 15 guests in attendance. Many of those guests were the children, or majority of the guests were the children and close friends of Cristiano Ronaldo and Georgina Rodriguez. All right, so beautiful for them. Congratulations to one of the greatest players of all time, in my opinion, the greatest really. But yeah, that's my opinion. All right, so transfers, more transfers. So many clubs are looking to quickly tie up loose ends and be ready for the new season. Marcus Rashford's future is still up in the air, very uncertain, despite the fact that Michael Carrick says he's looking to rely on him in the upcoming season. But we know Marcus is Marcus, and if an elite club suddenly does a U-turn, or maybe Al Hilal brings a €100 million offer for Marcus Rashford, I'm sure it will be an offer too difficult to refuse from Manchester United, and I know that Al Hilal will be willing to pay any amount that Marcus Rashford desires per week, per month, or whatever the transfer or whatever the contract entails or says. That is exactly how we see it. So many things happening in the world of football. Paul Pogba's contract will be looking to be terminated by AS Monaco after he succumbed to another injury in training, a non-contact injury, and he fell to the ground wincing and of course in tears. Paul Pogba used to play for Juve as well as Manchester United. Fantastic player, did very well for the French national team, won the World Cup, and it was a pivotal player. Wasn't a makeshift or wasn't one of the attachments as they say on the streets. He definitely played his part in that World Cup winning performance from the French national scene. Alright, so Paul Pogba at 33 has been dismissed by a lot of people, but never say never in life. I am sure that he definitely has a last hurrah in football, and whoever decides to take the risk or take a gamble of signing him is definitely a gamble, of course. But Paul Pogba, we know how good he is and how good he can be. He suffered a lot. Hopefully there will be light at the end of the tunnel, and very soon too for the former French international. I'm sure he wasn't happy when the French football team played in the last World Cup without him. I'm sure if it was 5-6 years ago, there would be no French team without Paul Pogba. Well, that's how life is. Things change and a lot of things happen. Messi couldn't make a winning return after the burial of his father as Inter Miami were kicked out of the League's Cup. Alright, but he will be looking to play very well against Nashville in a top of the table encounter. As for the MLS, remember they have Rodrigo De Paul, Casemiro, Luis Suarez to mention, but a few talking about Inter Miami. There's so many things happening in the world of football. Chelsea definitely set a transfer deadline for 5 p.m. today if Manchester City still wants Enzo Fernandez, and they have said 120 million or nothing. Is it euros or pounds? Well, your guess is as good as mine. It is Britain. So how much and what is their currency? So 120 million for Enzo Fernandez. Remember that he came for another 100+ million from Benfica to Chelsea, and now Chelsea want to ship him off to Manchester City at the request of Enzo Maresca, his namesake and former manager who has replaced Pep Guardiola at Manchester City. Well, that's what we are seeing now from Chelsea. After signing so many players, they can recoup a lot of money if Manchester City finally succumb or give in and by Enzo Fernandez. I don't see the need, but it's just me. I am not the coach of Manchester City. If they're eventually going to buy Ayo Boad, if at the end of the day the Boad contract is sealed or the Boad deal is agreed, how are they going to do it? Elliot Anderson, if Rodri doesn't leave, they have Nico Gonzalez. Well, it doesn't matter really. A world-class team would definitely want very good substitutes as well, because Elliot Anderson was bought for a British record fee as well, and Ayo Boad would definitely come for about 90 million euros at least from Lille. So there's a lot of money to spend for Manchester City. They've got the midfield already, but they want Body and Enzo Fernandez from Chelsea. Well, it remains to be seen if Manchester City will meet the 5 p.m. deadline set by Chelsea. Going forward, a lot of two Manchester United legends, Paul Scholes and Nicky Butt, have said that today, if they were actively playing, they would have probably chosen Manchester City over Manchester United. But a legend before they became legends, when they were still toddlers, Steve Bruce has come out to say there is no way. Well, not when they were still toddlers, really. That was oversaying it or overstating it. When they were still trying to make their way in football and they were still trying to earn, well, they're still cutting their teeth in their career. Steve Bruce, who scored 19 goals for Manchester United in that maiden Premier League triumph in 92-93, has said there is no way that he would have chosen Manchester City anytime over Manchester United. Even extolled the sterling qualities of Pep Guardiola, fantastic manager. Everybody knows that, a genius of a manager in the last 10 years, but it's a different ball game now that Enzo Maresca is the coach of Manchester City. So let's see what others have said. Gabi Aguero and others have also thrown jibes at Brennan Johnson, saying these guys who were pipes have swapped clubs, and Brennan Johnson has said he's won more than the lot, and that's true. Numbers don't lie. He's won more than Gabi Aguero ever won in his career, and Jamie O'Hara as well. So when some of these ex-players become pundits, they should remember who they were at the time they were players, and be careful what they say and who they attempt to throw jibes at. It's banter, probably friendly, but sometimes it gets to these guys. We remember the Roy Keane, Bruno Fernandes issue that sparked, which they have settled as men. A Manchester United legend, definitely one of the greatest captains in the history of Manchester United, in Roy Keane. For me, the second greatest after Brian Robson, aka Captain Marvel. But for others, he is the greatest ever captain of Manchester United. So it's a matter of opinions. But we know Roy Keane gave his best from 1992 to 2005, when that unceremonious exit happened, where he criticized players publicly, and Sir Alex Ferguson tore up his contract and said that is not acceptable at the club where I am the manager. Alexander Ferguson definitely was a hardliner, and a lot of players will tell you that today they will definitely not hide it. Nani has said that. Anderson, Evra, yeah, he definitely had his favorites, but there was never a time he didn't come hard upon players who probably deserved it. We remember that boot incident with David Beckham, and David Beckham eventually left for Real Madrid for £25 million. It was 28 really, but yeah, at that time he was very, very good. In 2001, he was second to Luis Figo for the World Footballer of the Year award, and in 1999 he was second to Rivaldo as well. So yeah, when you have played for AC Milan, Manchester United, Real Madrid and PSG, and you are a legend at Manchester United, you are also a legend at LA Lakers, you are a legend somewhat. You're a Galactico at Real Madrid. Give them 4 good years of your career. You definitely have earned your place in the pantheon, or among the pantheon of greats in our beautiful game. So yeah, so some other transfer news going. Mikael Götze is still being monitored. Not that it is going to be on monitoring, still being touted by PSG to come in to their club and to join the likes of Manex Akleuch, Ousmane Dembele, Bradley Bakula didn't have a single minute of play in the Super Cup. Didn't feature at all, and that's definitely not what we have experienced in the last 3 or 4 years. He has been prominent in, under Luis Enrique, but now that Liverpool are very much interested, more than interested in securing his signature, I think they're keeping fresh for that in case that transfer goes through. Nasser Al-Khelaifi has said he's still our player, and all of that is just mind games, but we know the Liverpool are very interested in securing this signature off Bradley Barcola. That's why PSG and Luis Enrique are looking for his replacement as quickly as possible. Michael Götze has been followed closely by PSG over the last month or two. Let's see how that goes in relation to the deal. Michael Götze on his own, very good player. Unfortunately, wasn't called up by Luis Garcia, the Belgian World Cup squad. But we know that the new coach of Belgium, Mark van Bommel, will definitely call Michael Götze going forward. So he should expect to be called up as quickly as possible by the Dutch football legend Mark van Bommel, who is now the coach of the Red Devils. Talking about coaches of national teams, Xavi Hernandez is the new coach of the Netherlands national team. Xavi Hernandez, the Barcelona and Al Assad legend, who managed Barcelona as well to La Liga crown, to La Liga glory, has done quite well in his career. The 46-year-old accepted wholeheartedly to manage Holland and cited the influences that the likes of Johan Cruyff, Frank Rijkaard, Louis van Gaal, the Reynolds Nations has had in his career as a player and a manager. So it was a no-brainer to accept when he was called upon or when the job was put forward to him, and he accepted with open arms. All right, so Xavi Hernandez has become the first non-Netherlands international to manage Netherlands, or the first non-Dutch coach to be coach of Netherlands since Ernst Happel through in the tour in 1978. So for 48 years, no Dutchman has no non-Dutchman has managed Netherlands, but Xavi has broken that. Now he is the coach of the Oranje after Ronald Koeman resigned. Ronald Koeman is always resigning, really. Everton, Southampton, Barcelona, either he resigns or he gets sacked. Ronald Koeman is no stranger to these things, but yet another Barcelona legend, Ronald Koeman. Ronald Koeman scored 253 goals in his career. He was a sweeper. The only person who is somewhat close, but 78 goals behind, is Daniel Passarella, the Argentine or the Argentinian, and the Argentine football legend, who was a defender to score 175 goals as well in his career from being a defender. So from defense, he scored 175 goals. But look at Ronald Koeman, 253 goals as a sweeper. So all right, so away from that, Xavi Hernandez is the coach of Netherlands, and Xavi Simons has quickly hailed the appointment, saying this is someone, he even took his name. So he's a big inspiration, a huge inspiration for Xavi Simons. And even though he is trying to come back from a career-threatening injury and an anterior cruciate ligament, he is definitely looking at working with Xavi Hernandez in the future. For basketball, Russell Westbrook, aka Brody, has retired after an 18-year-long career in the NBA. The 2017 NBA MVP, also called the triple-double king, definitely broke Big O's record. Oscar Robertson used to be the triple-double king until Russell Westbrook came calling. Remember that OKC team that had Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, and James Harden. Kevin Durant had to quickly go to the Warriors in order to win rings. That was a career-defining moment for KD, as well as the Oklahoma City Thunder, who've got Shai Gilgeous Alexander now, SGA, two-time NBA MVP, doing very, very well. People are saying Russell is the second greatest Thunder after SGA, but I disagree. I think SGA is still learning from the likes. So even though he's won MVPs, but he hasn't exactly done over the course of a long career. Done it over the course of a long career, like the Beard, KD, and Brody. So congratulations to Russell Westbrook on a brilliant career, even though he didn't win a ring. but he did very well. Nighttime All-Star, Olympic gold medalist. He's been everywhere in his storied, illustrious career. Brilliant guy. Russell Westbrook was my favorite player at some point, and yeah, when I talk about my 5 favorite basketball players, I start with the late great Kobe Bryant, 5-time NBA champion, of course, in his own right. Then we talk about Will Chamberlain, 2-time NBA champion, the all Lakers. Then Russell Westbrook, then Magic Johnson, then Larry Bird, of course. And I really like Scott Pippen as well. Them our very own Hakeem Olajuwon, aka Dream. All right, so that's for the NBA. Russell Westbrook has retired from the NBA after an 18-year-long career, and he was definitely given the tribute he deserves by pretty much everyone. So let us tell you straight away what Kevin Durant had to say about his former teammate, and at some point they were very good friends. So let's see what Kevin Durant had to say. Kevin Durant, a 2-time NBA champion with the Golden State Warriors. Let's see what he had to say about Russell Westbrook. According to him, I remember asking assistant coach Mo Cheeks what harder to do, work out after practice or before. I only asked cause by the time I would get to the gym, Russ was already done in the morning, and I usually got mine in after practice. All right, Mo was like, yeah, he's quoting Mo, coming in before practice is probably harder. All right, since then it's been my routine. A lot of people looked at the emotions on the court and thought Ross was loud. Nah, to me, he was quiet and methodical. He led by example, and once the lights were bright, he let everything out and experienced pure freedom. All right, it was inspiring as his teammate, and everywhere I went, I seen it inspire people from all walks of life. Crazy thing is, he didn't say much. He just showed up. For 18 years, this basketball life is sacred to us as professionals. What we put into that court means everything. All right, some of us wish we could go back and do things with a little more intent, and some can just wipe their hands and be satisfied with the time spent. Who are you gonna be? We know what 0 was on. 0 is Russell Westbrook. His favorite number was 0. All right, so continuing, we know what 0 was on. All right, and okay, some of us wish we could go back and do things with a little more intent, and some can just wipe their hands. We know what 0 was on. Keep inspiring in the next phase of life. All right, the champ. I don't care what happens. Can't erase what it was. The first year and championship runs, the finals run, the Lions, and those were in their early 20s. All-star games, seeing each other get enjoyed and bounce back, the bus rides, spin rides, right, card games, jokes, and arguments. The whole thing memorable to the whole Westbrook family. Nina, the kids, Mama Westbrook, Big Ross, Ray Donald, everybody from Livingston High, of course, Louisville High, and UCLA, and many more that I am forgetting. Much love and congratulations on an iconic career. This is from Kevin Durant to Russell Westbrook. All right, so well, we remember very well that Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant were 2 superstars at the OKC alongside the Bears, James Harden, because one of them has called time on his basketball career. Now, it is now left for Russ to definitely reach out to KD and James Harden and ask them, when are you guys left? 18 years. Did very well in his beautiful storied career. Russell Westbrook was at the Washington Wizards at some point, the Houston Rockets, LA Lakers, Sacramento Kings. So did very well for these clubs. Always gave his heart, gave his best. Triple-double king, 42 triple-doubles in one season, the most. 209 triple-doubles in the NBA, the most as well. 9-time All-Star, Olympic gold medalist. He's done pretty much everything. 2017 NBA MVP, just the ring missing. But that's how it is for in life. Look at tennis. There are so many players who never won Grand Slams, but the tennis legends in their own right. David Ferrer comes to mind. Tommy Haas comes to mind. Robin Soderling will probably come to mind. Thomas Berdych will come to mind as well. Nikolai Davydenko will come to mind as well. David Nalbandian will come to mind as well. These guys never won. Fernando Gonzalez, these guys never won the slam. Maybe Marcus Bagdatis, maybe, just maybe, if he's a legend, I wouldn't know. But Cornel Yuzny, of course, Mikhail Yuzny, Ivo Karlovic, John Isner, these guys play tennis to the best of their abilities, even though they were slam shy. They couldn't win a slam. Someone just won and are comfortable with it. Of course, they are happy, satisfied with it. Andy Roddick won only one slam, but was in multiple slam finals. Right, Casper Ruud hasn't won a slam yet, has been in slam finals. Alexander Zverev just recently broke his Grand Slam duck. So it's extremely difficult for these guys. Carlos Moya won only one. Carlos Ferrero, Marcelo Reyes, they won only one slam. Two slam guys, Dmitry Medvedev, because Yevgeny Kafelnikov won two, and he's okay with it. So what to do? Gaston Gaudio as well. So many guys have won. Juan Martin Del Potro, the Tower of Candil, won just one, and it's okay. But the people who won three: Stan Wawrinka, Andy Murray, they won three, and they're cool with it. Yeah, and Yannick is 25, and he's won how many? He's won 5, right? And Carlos Alcaraz is 23, and he's won 7. So that's life, different stroke for different folk. All right, so we'll go through some other transfer news for you. My viewers and listeners need to be kept updated at all times. That's why I'm here for you, giving you the very best of what you need to know concerning football, tennis, basketball, cricket, Formula 1. I'll also give you the Community Shield preview. Remember that the Premier League starts next weekend, but the curtain raiser, the traditional curtain raiser, is this weekend. The Premier League champions, Arsenal, versus the Premier League runners-up, Manchester City, who also double as the FA Cup champions as well as the Carabao Cup champions. So Pep Guardiola left on a high, even though he would have liked to leave higher with winning the Premier League, but he won so many that he's happy about it. So let's go straight to the transfer news. All right, so Aston Villa have contacted Bayern Munich for João Palhinha, which I said before, but there is no agreement on the permanent deal. A loan would have been easier to pull off, but Bayern Munich definitely want some players to leave their salary roster, really. So Enzo Maresca on Enzo Fernandez deadline at 5 p.m. today. I'm busy day at Manchester City. He said, I don't think we are going to do something today, which means that something's got to give. Either Chelsea extend their deadline or Manchester City can forget about signing Enzo Fernandez. These deadlines are actually putting people on the spot, and it's like a captive situation, really. Exclusive story on Tijani Reinders to Alcacer. Right, confirmed by Enzo Maresca. When the club declare the manager, they all think in the same way that probably the best decision for some players is to go. You have to go. So Tijani Reinders is going to Alcacer, right? I think that deal is worth over 65 million euros, and he will definitely command a huge salary at that outfit. So good luck to Tijani Reinders, the Dutch international. Enzo Maresca on Savinho. Savinho was not part of the session on Thursday, was a little bit ill. We'll see today. The session is in the afternoon. We'll see and we'll decide for tomorrow's game. Okay, the Community Shield is going down tomorrow, and we'll be giving you the preview, what's going to happen, what's expected between Arsenal and a new look Manchester City under Enzo Maresca in his first competitive game since replacing the great Pep Guardiola, who has been described as a genius repeatedly by Manchester United legend Steve Bruce. All right, Yon Lukumi will fly to Turin tomorrow, which is Saturday, to complete his medical at Juve. Deal agreed Bologna last night. Some documents exchange on the way. All right, so David Frattesi has authorization to travel to Roma in order to complete Lazio move from Inter. Well, don't be confused. Lazio and Roma are in Rome. So Rome is Roma, right? So Lazio, yeah, just like AC Milan, Inter Milan share the Giuseppe Meazza, Lazio and Roma share the Olympic Stadium. So don't be confused at all. So new conditions: 5 million loan fee, 10 million euros buy option clause and mandatory, and 50% sell on clause. That's if everything goes according to plan. Arsenal have made contact with Villarreal Kansas camp over a possible move this week. Arsenal, they've been making contacts every time. That's how they made contact with Young Stones and tried to make contact with Cuti Romero. Tottenham will never sell to Arsenal. That's why Tottenham sold Cuti Romero to Atletico Madrid for 40 million euros. In fact, Barcelona were interested but cooled their interest, of course. So Cholo Simeone and Cuti Romero, they're both Argentines, so definitely hug, and they have similar characteristics as well. They are extremely rugged, and they put their heart and soul into every performance, whether they are managers or their players. So let's see how that goes. Well, let's go straight in. So since we're done with Chelsea, Barcelona have considered sporting striker Luis Suarez among options if Julian Alvarez deal. Julian Alvarez deal will not happen. It has been long said by Enrique Cerezo that they should forget about it, but Barcelona still recalcitrant and still not accepting no as an answer. This Luis Suarez of Sporting is not the gunslinger. It's not El Pistolero. He's nothing like him, but he's dependable. Ferran Torres has agreed to leave Barcelona for PSG in a 50 million euro deal. In fact, that's all but sealed. So PSG, they've gotten their man, the World Cup winning goal recipient, the man who scored the World Cup winner, the man whose goal was the difference in the World Cup final between Spain and Argentina, the man whose goal made Spain win the World Cup for the second time and end Spain their second star, is going to PSG from Barcelona. So let's keep you posted on that. AC Milan and Ruben Amorim have informed Christopher Nkunku of their decision to keep him out of team training because they've said he's surplus to requirements there. Well, what to do? It is what it is. Clubs in Italy and abroad are interested in the signature of Christopher Nkunku. So Ruben Amorim has said he is not needed, no longer required at AC Milan. All right, so more information concerning transfers, crucial hours ahead. Well, Crystal Palace have completed formal steps for Ansel Kalali deal for Union Saint-Gilloise. All right, so 21 million pounds agreed and paperwork set to be submitted at CPFC as they signed a right wing back. So Kalali didn't pass the medical at Inter, but will now join Palace. This medical failure happened with Victor Boniface when he was to join AC Milan last year, and he eventually ended on loan at Werder Bremen. Talking about Boniface, Leverkusen played one friendly against Nottingham Forest and lost by 2-1, but that has done little justice to what's going on at Bayer. Bayer doing very well. Patrick Schick, Victor Boniface, and a lot of other good players. All right, so Aston Villa are set to focus their efforts also on new right back after Ruggeri deal has been announced soon. At left back, Matteo Ruggeri is pretty much Aston Villa's new left back. Jess Spence has landed in Milano to sign in as a new Inter Milan player, has been pushing for that deal from Tottenham Hotspur. Jess Spence straight to Inter Milan in a 31 million euros deal. Alright, so Jess Spence has gotten what he wants. He's going to be reunited with fellow England international John Stones at Inter. Rodri is flying back to Manchester from Madrid while talks with Barcelona continue. World Cup player of the tournament tonight. Well, Rodri wants to go to Barcelona. Initially wanted to go to Real, but Real cooled their interest for reasons best known to them. So right now, Barcelona submitted the 60 million euro offer 2 days ago, which was quickly pushed or knocked back by Manchester City. The valuation for Rodri is 80 million, despite the fact that he's 30 years old, he's injury prone. But in spite of all that, he won the golden ball at the World Cup. So he's definitely much coveted, has to be priced. He's a valuable player, and he's won the Ballon d'Or before. He's completed football as well. All right, so now for going to Real Sociedad, the deal is off. Rangers have agreed a deal to sign James Pennis from AEK Athens on loan with buy option clause. All right, so we said that Jan Lukumi is leaving Bologna to join Juventus. Yeah, so Musa Sissoko is the new agent of Vicha Cavaselia. All right, Musa Sissoko, we remember, played very well for France, as well as Tottenham, as well as PSG. All right, so Alex McAllister's father Carlos has said that his son will stay at Liverpool. All right, so that's good news for Liverpool. Alex McAllister will stay at Liverpool. That's very good for the Merseyside outfit. Cristiano Ronaldo has returned to Al-Nassr training ground as fast as possible. 1,000 goal milestone, another big mission for the newlywed. Of course, he's a brand new groom, whether 2 or 3 days ago, and he has wasted no time in reporting to training. But you see some lesser known players wanting 2 weeks, 3 weeks off, something they do not probably deserve. Michael Carrick has talked about Rashford and their ups and downs in football, but now we're in a positive place as a group, and Marcus can offer us so much. He's done and he can do again. So in that respect, it's quite exciting. Let's see how that goes, because Marcus Rashford, his reliability is in constant question, because some of these players, you know that their antecedents, their reputation precedes them. So you have to definitely not be reliant on them when you know that they can change. Their loyalty is continuously questioned by themselves. So that brings us to the end of Sports Grandeur on OJ 106.3 FM Benin. We're going to talk about the Community Shield roundup, but we don't have time. All right, but we know that Arsenal will definitely play Manchester City tomorrow in the Community Shield. Manchester City, a new look side under Enzo Maresca. Tijani Reinders is leaving for 65 million euros. They are still looking at getting in Ayo Boabi, as well as Enzo Fernandez from Chelsea. For Arsenal, they've got Christian Zolis. They let Leandro Trossard leave. They've got Gabriel Jesus, Victor Gyökeres, and so many other players. Bukayo Saka, Eberechi, they are back from their vacation or their break after reaching the semi-finals and securing 3rd place for England in the last World Cup. So let's see the Premier League curtain raiser. Well, the season's curtain raiser is the Community Shield. Every time it's traditional. When Wembley was being fixed, it was being held at the communities at the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff. Let's not forget that the Community Shield brings a lot of pageantry, and that is what we expect tomorrow when Arsenal and Mikel Arteta face Manchester City and Enzo Maresca. Manchester City will be without Rodri, who is recuperating from that back surgery that he had 2 Mondays ago. So let's see who wins that first match and ends bragging rights. Thank you very much. It's been fun as usual. My name is Ohis Eboeme. Enjoy your weekend and stay out of trouble. Let's not forget that your safety is paramount.